what I do basically is I am putting the characters, I develop them in here in Flash, and then I transfer them to Illustrator and essentially character animator. So quite a bit of a process, but I do like it. And we started basically from this very rudimentary things, and then we went ahead and built like the whole thing. Idea of the world is nothing is like built and everything is grown, as you can kind of see out here, but I cannot quite make it look in this way. So I decided to completely pivot, went with Unreal Engine and basically started to lay out the same world but in the 3D, which allows me to keep this perspective going. And the characters are still 2D, so this way we can kind of keep this interaction with the world and keep our character at the same time. Today we are working on transferring the world that we can see on the picture on the top right to the Unreal Engine. We'll be using the reference to orient ourselves to put in the primitives, and then we'll keep on going by adding the roads and inserting the characters as well. Let's see how far we can get there, because I do not have way too many experience when it comes to working with Unreal Engine. Just started to learn it. So we'll see. How good will it be then? Alright. So far we have the basically building in the center, and this gap is a little bit too big, right? So let's select all of these guys, move them closer. Do I want more cramped space? Will I? Yes, I think this is visually correct. Here, a little bit of a gap. Okay. No. Only this one? Alright. And this. This is way too grand for my characters. Because if that's a character really, right? Then I want to have a smaller city in this case. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Four bears. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now, this building is taller than this, but not as tall as that. Oh, maybe this one should be smaller. This 1, 2, 3, 4 bears. Yeah, I think it's one more barrel. Temperature, light intensity, light mass, light source angle? Nope. Okay, let's figure out the lights and stuff later. What is it? Atmospheric fog. Interesting. Atmospheric fog is probably something that is way out there in the back. My character is already 2D, so I cannot move left and right. Okay, so we will need to do some sort of a camera turns. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and a little bit. Okay. Is first level okay when it comes to like just the scale of the things? I think that, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have a tower, restaurant, we have the bar, administrative building, and hero building. We have the barn, we have the medicine building. Okay, now can we see the trader? We cannot see the trader. I don't think it's doable, but let's see. It's doable, but this guy needs to be short. Let's see if it does make sense. Hold on, how wide they are? Maybe they are all too wide. I did not really think about that. Now it's not. Bunny, go away. As you can see, when it comes to moving the 2D character in a 3D world, it can move quite naturally. And you even walk around pretty much like a 3D character. In fact, it feels much more 3D when it just spins out in one place. And I do like the offset on the camera while he moves. It kind of make it feel more alive. And we will play much more with the camera to make this aligned to 90 degrees, and the walking is not quite right? It does not really go straight anymore when we are turning. It kind of working fine, but it does not recognize correctly when the left, right, and up, down works. And additionally, we have this annoying detail of of things looking slightly slidey, which I'm pretty sure is not optimal. So we are going to try to address that by creating the walking cycle. And in fact, we'll need a bunch of walking cycles because we need to go from the player, we need to go to the player, which would be the different ones, and left, right would be largely duplicating each other, just flip. So this is not supposed to be the worst situation. However, we also want to have a sprint, and the sprint, as you can see so far, we are thinking about doing something quite fast. So I think the sprint would be all fours. And we'll see what we're gonna do with the flying characters and climbing characters, because as you can see, there's quite a bit of a verticality that goes on in the world, right? With the different things and the different levels. And when we are talking about range characters and them living out there, we'll need to come up with some ways to make things scalable. And that would basically depends on, like, a raccoons, for example, can very much probably would be able, or well, raccoon-like characters, just because of this guy's climbing everywhere. They would be more like, hey, we can just stuck to any surface and climb it by spending the movement. For other characters, they basically need some sort of a special nudges that kind of are implemented when it comes to just talking about the broader world. Let me see if we can pull it up very fast. You can see the world have quite a bit of the verticality, and there are these scalable sides that I plan to implement here and there, and the ropes that are connecting the buildings, and the ropes gonna have the weight limits, scalable things gonna have spacing based on the different characters' ability to climb it. So, and we also gonna have the throwing ability for the character, so this needs to be accounted for as well. So yeah, lots of things to cover. For that reason, we want to keep things spaced and work on a regular basis on this different pieces. So stream, I rig this a little bit of a walking cycle, and this walking cycle actually works very well when it comes to just walking around in a normal mode before you start rotating the camera. So down, left, right, right, left, up, left, up, right, up, and we do not have a jump anymore, and the walk so far is just way too slidey. So let's see if we can address it. And the turns are not quite ready, but I do like this feeling of 2D character moving in this 3D world. Surprisingly kind of satisfying, and Unreal Engine camera navigation is really top notch. I did not expect that. So when we're moving into this tight corners, which is always quite an annoying situation to deal with, right, with this building right there. I mean, there is kind of like building popping in and out, but nothing that I would be like, oh hey, it's unusable. And additionally, it was very easy to keep our character lead and include it with all this lighting. So yeah, Unreal Engine is definitely the way to go for us. Landscape also was much easier than expected. I mean, I understand that it's fairly generic at this point, but we do want more of a simplistic feel when it comes to the level. This is still a little bit of a placeholder because I'm not quite sure what that's gonna be, but yeah, the buildings that we can see out here currently are the buildings that are supposed to be at play. And it's really gonna be containerized world. I think the whole game actually is supposed to fit inside this level because of the narrative nature of whatever we want to do, and we want to scale later down the line. So we really gonna define this place, and we're gonna fill it with different systems so the whole thing can change. And because everything is kind of natural and grown, everything may be changed over time, so we will see if we can implement this systems to have these different pieces much more reconfigurable. We can deal with a little bit of a different layouts of the place that's gonna affect the gameplay in a different way. But before we gonna get there, we need to understand first what are the core systems that we do want to implement. And for that reason, we just need to start slowly with outlining the space and making sure the characters feels organic in the world. And for that reason, let's go ahead and start working on the walk-in cycles. Let's start with pro orientation, and let's see what we should start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Point. Okay. Now our bear is aligned to the walking cycle, and we can use it to understand when we need to bob things ahead. I think the resting pose also needs work, but this is another question. One thing at a time. Okay, rotate does not rotate properly, but okay, we're in business. Boom. Boom. Aha. And we need a different paw. Is stepping on the ground. I don't think I have one like that. Yep. It's not a problem though. Yeah. Let's add one more. And let's transform it a bit. Oh, is that a separate thing? Oh, I did not fix that. That's annoying. Yeah. Contact. Contact to the ground and the second leg is going forward, getting bent a bit. And the arm, the near arm is going back. Now it's going forward. Also getting bent. It can get bent quite a bit. The shoulder is supposed to go up, forward. In order for the shoulder to go forward, we need to keep shoulder forward, right? Not too far, but let's go quite a bit. Let's see if it's okay. It does look like he's getting somewhere. Let's fix the bad poorly rigged. Yeah, let's get it a little bit more pronounced now, and I guess we're gonna tone it down and really work with how that feels later on. Oh, arms are so nicely done when compared to legs, especially this one. What the hell is that? Okay, not perfect, but as a first take, let's take it. The idea is that this guy's gonna... Let's go ahead. And create some keyframes. It's quite a bit of keyframes to pay. Okay. Now we have all those things keyframed, and we can go ahead. Ew. So from this point to run away. Actually, it looks natural. Nice. One. And let's go. That's actually fairly fluid, I think. Let's get rid of selection. And this is where the character actually goes down. Interesting. Tell us how to get down. Okay, let's align the head first. Need to understand that this guy is shorter, right? About this much, right? So about here. Right, I don't want the bear to be bobbing as much. And he steps with the leg here, and basically from here to step. So he leans here more. This is not correct. And this is on the ground.
Please return and explain. Please explain.
Leg is very poor.
Please explain.
A little bit. Oh, I think I can get away with it though.
Please return and explain. Please explain. Please explain.
Okay, close enough. And over, please. Well, this one is in contact now, right? Because this is in contact now. Buddy. My buddy's there.
Please explain.
The head remains. Oh. Oh. I'm working on the wrong frame. Okay, let's make leg unbroken. I think I wanted to do something with legs before I'm going to the walking cycle. Not as much, right? This guy, cheek, and this guy. Goes there, and fix the knee. Extremely poorly rigged leg in this case. Just massive wall away. Let's see how much can we undo. This guy's very movie. Yeah. Not as much. Getting over there. This one is for copy. This one is for F6. Okay, down, leaning, down, normalizing, up, and down again. Okay, yes, I like it. This is a preparation for Naruto run. This is not quite what I'm going for. Okay, the shoulder starts to move forward. Get in there. And there. How far did I go with this arm? Really far. Okay, let's do more. We'll be back. You will see. You will remember. You'll be there for me. Alrighty. Hey, Fantastic. How are you doing today? What brings you here? We are working on a cartoon, and in the game the idea is here to rig the walking cycle for the bear, and what we are going for is really to be able to go here, and as you can see the game is coming as well as a cartoon. Yeah, and this guy can run around, but I think it's not enough because it's a little bit of a ghost bear right now. Yep, so we're working on this guy, slowly building up on this Skynamic Studios template that I do like. Yeah, so when it comes to World Zero, I was starting to build it up, right, and kind of like, okay, box to kind of understand where everything lives. So while let me go. So here is my wonderful. Oh yeah. This is, well, not Flash. It's called Adobe Animate these days, but I call him Flash because they have Adobe Animate and Adobe Character Animator, and Adobe Character Animator is the bunny that you see out here, so it allows me to like control it. So we have like a sad mouse and a happy mouse, and we have a bunch of animations that is already pre-rigged that I can use during the conversation. I also can make a thing. We have a little bit of a pre-rigged situation with arms, and we also have a what I call a groove mode where we stop being snappy and get more smooth. Yeah, and this bunny is a real time, and this guy is a Flash. He is not real time, and we have more control out there. What I do basically is I am putting the characters, I develop them in here in Flash, and then I transfer them to Illustrator and essentially character animator. So quite a bit of a process, but I do like it, and we started basically from this very rudimentary things, and then we went ahead and built like the whole thing. Idea of the world is nothing is like built and everything is grown, as you can kind of see out here, but I cannot quite make it look in this way. So I decided to completely pivot, went with Unreal Engine, and basically started to lay out the same world, but in the 3D, which allows me to keep this perspective going. And the characters are still 2D, so this way we can kind of keep this interaction with the world and keep our character at the same time. Especially now I get lines in Illustrator. Illustrator I actually don't like as much. I find Flash just much more convenient when you figure it out, because it does have this annoying thing that you need to get used to when it comes to having this million layers, but it really allows you to zoom in, because every single guy out here is basically a symbol. So if you can see the bottom right of the thing, right? So this is a separate houses, and like we can use them as a reusable assets as well. And similar style of Papa the Rapper with the flat characters in the 3D world. Oh yeah, like there's a bunch of those. I'm kind of prototyping based on a bunch of things, and the main idea is kind of have this middle ground between turn-based strategy and D&D games. So have this very containerized small world that I can, get some manual stuff through and mini games, and kind of attach it to the overall story that I'm gonna go into the cartoon. And the cartoon, basically the first seasons, I'm gonna spend all the time in there, and the game will be for exploring more of the characters, and because one of the principles no side characters, so there will be maximum 30 of them, but every single one needs to be meaningful, and we're gonna complicate things with the systems. Yeah. So the biggest issue when it comes to the characters, character development. Let me open up my lineup. Because character development is also quite interesting in Flash. What I struggle a lot is to kind of get this approach with getting them rotated. So the bear is more or less fine, but it took like a ridiculous amount of time. I cannot keep things consistent and not quite sure how much things supposed to go, like this 3/4 stuff. This is where I'm like, hey, sometimes I think, should I just go 3D? And because it feels a bit easier when you develop things to rotate them. But I don't know, as I look at it, the things as it comes to the later product, the criminal mouse has a wonderful mouse. Yeah, so I want to finish this guy today. So this is all the way Naruto run, but we're gonna fix it. We want to finish the walking cycle today, and on a Saturday we are working on a cartoon. We're gonna try to implement it into Unreal Engine, and we are also gonna transferring the same thing into the Illustrator and into the character animator. So yeah, if some of that process is of interest, you get some more questions, let me know. So very basic walk, so we did not really work on that much. We're gonna work on adjusting it to give a little bit more personality for the bear when he walks. This is also is way too low. Now let's fix that. And the walking cycle, we're supposed to actually have a couple of them, because when it comes to going back to Unreal, we have the regular walk where we just walk around, and we have a run. And run's supposed to be on all fours, so this would be much more complicated thing. It would be more towards... This is way too low though. Let's come here, let's adjust the guide. On the wrong screen, so I double click on a bear, I double click on a head, and we can flip the symbols as well, right? Because, for example, on the bottom right, you can see we have a bunch of different eyebrows, right? So we can have a different moods and stuff. And it's also very important where the pivot point is, so we can rotate properly, right? But you can see, like, with the eyebrow alone, now we have completely different mood going on. I really do like it, and I really rigged a bunch of eyebrows on a bunny as well, so you can have like and some more of a thin one and very thin one. I do like it. It's this tiny things of like, hey, now we're gonna get tired, or now we got really excited. Yeah, and I definitely like these different nudges and bits and pieces when it comes to working with a face. Could you assign a peg to the eyebrow, or is there already? So when it comes to working with the eyebrows in a Flash, so in general you can see like this white thingy. So when you're going inside the symbol, here's the center. And when you're gonna do any sort of rotation, rotation is gonna be around the center, right? So when you're, this is actually allows you to build kind of anatomically correct eyebrows, because you move a lot out here and you do not move your eyebrows a lot out here. So we can just try to move them around right now, you will see. So the most of the muscles are there. So it's very appropriate to kind of move it this way. So if you want to go very low, you kind of want to have the same color over here as the outliner. Yeah, but that's the idea, that Animate does not really have the specific of like, hey, you need to tag things, etc. It does exist in Character Animator because the eyebrows are a little bit more slidey. Because of that, well, like, I'm gonna try to move it, but I cannot really look at myself and move at the same time. Okay, so you use a pivot point when you select it. Well, it's more about planning your pivot point when you are creating the symbols, right? Because, for example, eyebrows are actually not as representative. Arms are really interesting. So this is very important where you position this. As you can see, this arm is crappy because this pivot point is not like inside the circle. Because if that would be the center of the circle, and this is because I messed up, I'm gonna fix this puppet. If this would be exactly the circle, this means that as we are getting out of the symbol and we start rotating it, this arm is not going anywhere, right? It does not slide left, right, it just stays on this exactly same spot. So when it comes to planning this stuff, it's very important. And same with eyebrows, right? If you do not happy with the way you did the eyebrows, right, you kind of want to go here, right? So this guy is like exactly here. So this is the way you want to go out there. And then you come out from the symbol and you just position these things back. And you can move this point wherever you like, but if you double click on that, it snaps back to the place that is by default. And this is the easiest way because, like, let's say your center point is somewhere here, but you move it out here and you're happy with that, but then you keep on working with that, you accidentally clicked it and it disappeared to some random place because when you're double clicking it, it just goes to this default place as an example. And you can get yourself in trouble. Yeah, so a lot of kind of small things. The best thing I found around Character Animator was Release Dynamic Studios. They are outstanding. It's a True Tale cartoon, but this is like an actual studio. I just happened to find the tutorial from them. Where we are. Okay, we wanted to fix the height issue, right? Okay, recoil, and let's go to the other recoil. Oh yeah, this is very low. Oh, that is better. And let's see where the hips are. So this hip is a little bit the back, so let's bring the leg in and let's increase the bend. And out here we can see that we have a bunch of legs ready, so this one is for this type of step. Let's change it, and I have no idea why they are so out of whack. I thought my puppet was way better. I just finished a project last week where I had it and make 2D rig in Harmony. Harmony, never work with that. What is basically what is Harmony? Is it something like that for just rigging animations? Toon Boom animation. Yeah, this looks more. How dare Toon Boom animation? Whoa, this looks like a serious stuff. What are you doing in general? Okay. And this one is back. Brings the pivot point out here. Shrink a bit. Put this one out there. And raise it up with that. Okay, let's see how that looks. This looks fast. A little bit too fast. Okay, let's list. Okay, looks more like a run than a walk, but I think a lot of that is because of the speed. Looks fairly smooth. By the way, I just remembered something. I'm curious if I can find. The idea of the game is to have this verticality, and this is achieved basically through throwing the characters. And there is a good reason why one of the ears of the bunny is broken, because everybody toss her using this ear. Thumbnails, recover views, recover lineup, mouse forks, characters. Oh, it's not in the characters folders. I have so many folders. Devlogs, OBS, walkthrough, audition. Try to put in it on 2 seconds. Oh, can I do the delay on the thing here? Well, I mostly look at this manually, right? Because when it comes to dealing with that, and also, hold on a second. Let's disable that, and let's export animated GIF. And this is how it looks. A little bit clunky, but not too bad, I think. Anything stands out? At least looks fairly continuous. I don't know what this song. Is the start and end frame same? No, they are not. He would be a little bit blunt. Yeah, he would not be as smooth. So, idea here, right? So the first frame is. Oh, they are the same, right? Oh, I'm silly. I'm sorry. Oh, I did not even notice. I think for the proper GIF, we want to get rid of this guy, right? Let's see how that looks. Oh, this is the difference between professional and amateur. Was not on my radar at all. Pick. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it does look better. Oh, now I see it. Yeah, it does look better. Man, it's so subtle though. You have a good eye. Oh, and it looks much better. Yeah. Okay, I can see it was sticking. Man, but I can only stick in, can see it after the fact, not before the fact. Interesting. And one of the things that I am working in as well is this. So basically I have a little bit of a keyboard just laying around, and I am controlling my character animator with that. This is different now because this is eyebrows now and this is eyes now. So this is not really as a this guy's that you can see under the eyes, and more closed, and eyebrows more of a mad ones, as well as, you know, different type of reactions that are possible. Also, pose to pose is a little bit of a different beast, because, for example, right now when I do the movements, the bunny is kind of like snappy, right? And the way it's used is basically you can get your nice snappy transitions, right? But your ears are still dangles, right? So it looks cool, but you can have a little bit more of a groovy mode where you grab this guy and just put it all the way down, so you are nice and smooth, which absolutely kills CPU. Because the character is the way to evolve. This guy can be used to kind of scale things up and down on the rim, and XY scale can be used to just play around with it. A lot of things that can be explored. Oh, thank you for testing my custom overlay. I wanted to do it for a while. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up for today's goal for today was really to finish working on this guy, and I am fairly happy with how this turns out. And on Saturday we're gonna work on just moving this guy to the game, and further down the line we're gonna work on all these different bits and pieces when it comes to animating the bear and bunny and fox. So this is a complete team that are gonna be in the well, it's a main team which we're gonna go deeper with how their interactions gonna work. Thank you for joining today. Cheers.